Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, we have Mickey Etherton from the city of Auburndale, Roy Fuoco from the Ledger, and we have a great preview of what's going to happen and what did happen at Weber International University this season. Stick around for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right is Mr. Neil Duncan, and this segment being brought to us by Harry's Old Place in Winter Haven, just a mile down the road from Legoland, Florida, on Cypress Gardens Road. And Neil, great show lined up, although that little preset was not quite as descriptive as I would like it to be, because it is the best show for local, regional, state sports here, right here in the state of Florida in Polk County.
Well, it's only good because of the guests that we have on the show, and our first guest, Mickey Etherton, then we have Coach Scott and Roy Fuoco, so it's going to be a great show.
They're all celebrities in their own right. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, future Hall of Famers.
That's right. Well, Mickey, I'm not really sure about.
Well,
we'll have to ask him about that. I can only say that because he's sitting right next to me.
Absolutely. Hey, Mickey, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And, you know, coming up, you've got a sort of sports-related event, but it's a function in Polk County that's taken place for years, and it's the Auburndale Christmas Parade. You guys have done an unbelievable job taking that thing right down Havendale Boulevard, and this is exciting times for City of Auburndale.
It is. Thank you very much. We have this is something we started 13 years ago, and I've been the chairperson for the Christmas Parade for all those years. And it was a great way that Mr. Green and myself, our city manager, got together, went over to Winter Haven, and thought of a way that we could bring the two cities together as a great event, and boy, has it ever turned into a big one. It's December the 5th at 7 o'clock, and on Havendale Boulevard. It starts at Spring Haven Retirement Community and runs all the way back into Auburndale and ends right there at Center State Bank. So
well, Neil can just walk out his front door there at the retirement community and check it out.
Yeah, because I'm clearly a senior citizen of this duo. Hey, Mickey, looking at the parade, is there still opportunities for people to put floats in, or how does that whole process work?
Actually, today is the deadline, and today at 5 o'clock. And each year we'll have about 90 to 100 entries every single year, and they range from all kinds of things. One of the big things, the people at the retirement community really love this event. It's a way that we can give back to them, and they just fill Havendale Boulevard. It's grown so much over the years that thousands and thousands of people come in. But if you would like the information on it, you can contact the Parks and Rec office at 965-5545, and we can get you all that information.
Good times in the city of Auburndale, and Havendale Boulevard, obviously a very busy place most days, but this is going to be great stuff. We're looking forward to it. Moving on to a couple of things that you know, a lot of people really don't think about it this time of the year, and that's soccer and lacrosse, some of these other things, because football, you know, we're all you know, football fans and that type of thing, but man, you guys have been busy out at Lake Myrtle.
We have, and we're winding down the year right now with a lot of our baseball events, and through the years we've went out and tried to bring a lot of different events in. One of the big ones that we're looking forward to is next Saturday and Sunday. It's an intercollegiate women's lacrosse event. They'll come from all over the United States and Canada. It's high school lacrosse kids, and this is their biggest event of the year. The organization is out of Maryland, and they will come in and bring the college coaches in for the opportunity to recruit these kids and scout them. So it's a big event. It's also taking place at Disney Wide World of Sports, and that's another event where we can partner with Disney Wide World of Sports. So it's a really good event, and it's big. And
that's a rare opportunity because, you know, there's very few people that Disney's willing to work with, which is a testament not only to the you know, the quality of the park and the shape you guys keep that thing and the way you run things, but also when you take a look at the quality of the event. I mean, it's really a testament to the status of Polk County in the world of sports. Very few people work with Disney and work with them well.
And then we've developed that partnership over the years, all the way back to taking part of them with the college soccer showcase that they have every year at Lake Myrtle, and they'll be coming back for that again, and with this event also. So it'll be we're looking forward to this lacrosse event. It's fun to have them there.
When you talk about Lake Myrtle, it's hard to believe we're in our 5th year of the park being open, and I think the Florida Youth Soccer Association was a 50-year agreement, so you've only got
Yes.
45 years left on
Only
that.
45.
But you look at that partnership and what it's brought to the complex, and talk a little bit about that. It's hard to believe 5 years already.
It has. Someone was talking to me the other day, and they said, talking about Lake Myrtle and where we started and where we're at right now. And we never really realized that it would get to this point. Certainly hoped it would, and 5 years down the road, we're already there. We've completed our schedule. We start every year working on the schedule for the next year. That's already completed, and we have a lot of repeat customers that come back every single year. These lacrosse events, the Disney events, and a lot of baseball. And that's also included with the Russ Matt Invitational that takes place every March. And it's really grown, and we wanted to put it on the map, and we have certainly done that.
Well, I'm sorry, I was just going to say, it's one thing to build a complex, but the part that people don't see is you can't just have it booked every single day of the year because there's wear and tear on the fields. Talk a little bit about what goes into the maintenance side of things.
It is, and when you look at that, you have to realize that we don't only go to the tournament events that's out there. We also have a lot of the youth organizations, Auburndale Youth Soccer, some of the schools from Winter Haven come over and play their games out there also. Not only soccer, baseball, Auburndale Youth Baseball plays out there. It's difficult, but our guys and our staff do a great job of maintaining the facility and making sure that we have that downtime, because when those people come back to Lake Myrtle the next year, we want it looking exactly like it did when they was here the last year.
Yeah, and it seems to be getting better and better. And you remember the first time the day at the baseball complex opened?
Oh, yes.
You guys are wrapping stuff up. Baseball opened the next day, and still putting shrubs in it. Thing was ready to rock and roll, and that is an unbelievable undertaking.
It's turned out great. And Neil, you're exactly right. To have Florida Youth Soccer Association at Lake Myrtle, to have sports and tourism at Lake Myrtle, it's unreal, and people love it, and they continue to talk about it when they leave.
Yeah. Well, I hear about it all across the country. You can be sitting on an airplane, or you're up somewhere or out somewhere. People know where it is, especially if they're involved in baseball or soccer. And Mickey, it's sort of the crown, jewel, I guess, if you will, of your career, which a lot of folks don't know is winding down. You've been 30 years with the city of Auburndale.
Sure have, yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
And there's some stories we can talk about. There's some that
some we better not.
We can't. Maybe
Just stop.
I'll just stop there. But but 30 years with one organization is almost unheard of anymore. And I remember when you guys were building the Auburndale softball complex, and you ran that thing and put Polk County on the map in one of the biggest tournaments we've ever held was the National Softball Association Girls Fast Pitch World Series. And
136 teams.
Yep, televised it. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal experience.
It was. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky that over the 30 years that I've seen things happen, and a few of them that just come back. And the Auburndale softball complex definitely was the first big one we did. The redesign of our downtown park in Auburndale, new playground system. We had to relocate our tennis facility, which we did. We are the only clay public facility in the county, and we're very proud of that. Our tennis pro, Andy Durham, does a fantastic job of bringing people in from all around. And then you look at Lake Myrtle, and that's the big one, and that's exactly what we were talking about a while ago. To bring those people in, to see those major 3 projects take place has been very gratifying to me.
And of course, we know, being on the county government side of things, and you with the city government, it takes a good staff to implement these things, but also it takes good leadership from the city commission and the city management, in our case, the county manager. Talk about maybe some of those relationships over the years and how you, as the city of Auburndale, have been able to move forward like you have.
It has, and it goes way back. A lot of people make the comment, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And what we've done is our commission has been very backing of us in the recreational end of things, and very thankful to them for that. And our city manager, Bobby Green, we knew that, but also surrounding ourselves with those people as Florida Youth Soccer Association, your staff, and sports and tourism that's there. It's our whole recreation department and our whole city department, and as big deal of it. So it's come together all as one, and I'm very lucky and very fortunate to be able to have a part of that for 30 years.
Some of the highlights of your career, you know, and when you dedicate the better part of your life, you know, being, you know, only 35 years old, you started when you were 5.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. But better part of your life, what are some of the highlights in the sports area that, I mean, you're a former collegiate baseball player.
Yes.
You know, you played kind of semi-pro ball and some other stuff, and so you're a jock yourself.
When I started with the city in a lot of different areas, I've worked in like 5 different divisions with the city, and seen a lot of things, met a lot of people, made a lot of friends, and that's the main thing. We look at ourselves as coworkers, and it's gone a long way. But I think a lot of the highlights, the biggest highlight I would have to say is Lake Myrtle, and what we've done and where we put it on the map, and seeing those people that come there that really appreciate that. That's been the biggest thing for me.
Do you think the softball complex led into that? Lake Myrtle may have not gone as smoothly if the softball complex hadn't proceeded.
It really opened our eyes, Neil, to see what could happen. And then once we seen the vision of Lake Myrtle of where we wanted to go, we knew that we've done it at the softball complex. We knew with our downtown park what has happened, and it's really, really gone well. So to answer your question, yes, it has led into it.
Well, we certainly appreciate it.
You know, Mickey's done an awful lot for the city of Auburndale, and a lot that people don't know about. But he's also done an awful lot for Polk County, particularly stimulating the local economy when he goes out and plays golf. And but what's your handicap? What's your handicap?
It's 5.
Is it?
It's a 5.
He's a
yes.
sandbagger. I'm telling you, he's a sandbagger.
I get my son to help me out. So,
Oh,
So
okay,
will you be on the tournament/scramble circuit more now that you'll have a little more free time?
my wife hopes not, but I'm sure it will
But
be a little
the
bit
answer
more.
is yes.
Mary Beth keeps a pretty tight leash on old Mickey. She's a good girl, and arguably one of the reasons that you've been so successful, because she's been so supportive.
Absolutely.
And with her own career and the successes of her own. But I tell you, it's been an honor, and on behalf of the entire staff at Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, it has been an honor and more importantly, a pleasure to work with you over the course of the years. And you know, I think that sometimes government gets a bad rap in certain areas, but this is an area that, what can we do to make this happen? How can we make it better? How can we improve the environment for our citizens and the local economy? You've done all of it. And that is it's a testament to the quality of your work and your career, and boy, I tell you, we appreciate it.
I appreciate it, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Absolutely.
Well, Mickey, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And the next chapter in your life, we won't get into that, but I think at some point we're going to.
Maybe sooner than you think.
I'm hoping so. So there you have it, everybody. We've the next chapter coming up next. But between now and then, we have a little hiking tip for you. And what a great time to be outside with friends, family, hiking on some of Polk County's finest and Florida's finest natural preserves. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neil will be back with more Sports Central right after this.
Hi, I'm Shannon, the Natural Resources Extension Agent, and I'm here at Tiger Creek Preserve to give you some tips and advice for hiking in Central Florida. Plan ahead for the conditions where you're going to be hiking. You'll want to make sure to protect yourself against the sun, the heat, and the insects. For the sun, make sure you always wear sunscreen when outside. You'll also want to consider wearing a hat. Hats can help protect the back of your neck and your ears, places we often forget to put sunscreen on. For the heat, you'll want to wear loose-fitting, cool clothing and comfortable footwear. This is important to avoid blisters and heat exhaustion. For insects, make sure you wear, or at least bring with you, bug spray. You never know when you're going to walk down into an insect-filled swamp. An important ingredient in bug spray is DEET. DEET is especially effective against ticks. You'll want to be careful with young children though, as some studies show DEET can be problematic. While hiking, it's important to adopt a leave no trace attitude. This ensures that visitors after you have the same wonderful hiking experience that you did. What does leave no trace mean? Some of the ideals are that we don't leave any trash or food behind us. So anything that you pack in with you or hike with, make sure you take back out to the closest garbage can. Another thing that's important is staying on the trail. Staying on the trail is not only important to help protect your personal safety, but it's also important because it helps protect the trail around us. Visitors after us don't want to see a bunch of dead plants because we trampled all over them. Another important message of Leave No Trace is to leave the natural areas around us the way we found them. While this might look like a cool souvenir, it's really best to leave it here. We don't know what role this plays in the ecosystem. These were just some tips to help you with your next hiking adventure. Remember to get outside and enjoy Polk County's beautiful parks and trails. Be safe and have a great time.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Sports Central, Mark Jackson here along with Neil Duncan, and this segment's being brought to us by
Subway.
Subway.
Great partner of tourism and sports, and great place to eat healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Breakfast of champions.
That's right.
Or
Eat
whatever.
breakfast there. They do have breakfast now.
They do have
They've had it for a
breakfast
while.
there.
But
It's some good stuff. Well, you know, Neil, we went from hiking, which is, you know, great opportunity for families to get together, go out, have a fun day, take a picnic, whatever, or have a picnic, do whatever you want to do. And, you know, a lot of people just really don't realize how much we have here in Polk County. You can go out to Circle B.
Right.
I mean, there's so many places that your
A lot of
family can go.
natural, right.
And, in fact, a good place for everybody to go and check that out is you can go to visitcentralflorida.org, and there's all sorts of information about that, or you can go to polk-county.net. I think I said that right.
yeah, well, and the great thing about it, Mark, is
natural resources and Parks
Right.
and Recreation. That's best information right there.
and this time of year. You
Oh.
can't beat this time of year. And this is, you know, while it's snowing up north, you can be hiking around Central Florida's Polk County, and it's a win-win. Speaking of win-win, we have a winner at the table with us. We need to start talking to him.
Well, I'm telling you, it was. I was impressed. Started the season 0-3, and that is in football, everybody. But wow, 7 in a row they won after that, winning the conference title, and really a strong statement about quality of coaching staff and what they did with a team that wasn't picked to win. Initially, wasn't picked to win the conference championships. And man, my hat's off to them. But it boils down to coaching and execution. And Kelly Scott embodies that. Kelly, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here with you.
I mean, you look much more relaxed than you did a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
About 7 weeks ago,
yeah, when
right?
you get that monkey off your back, things get a little bit better. But our kids and our coaching staff all bought in to the plan, and good things happen.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in life, I don't think people understand it's where you want to go, and you got to stay the course. And
Right.
everybody's quick to change, and sometimes that causes you problems.
The knee-jerk reaction to
Yeah.
things. Well, there's a lot of different things going on in this season. Of course, you guys were an independent before the season. This is the first year of the Sun Conference in football. So let's talk about that and what it meant to win the first conference championship that there was, and then what that means to possible playoff implications.
Well, I'll tell you what, having a conference and having something to play for was huge for your kids, which we've never had before. And the fact that we have 3 teams in Polk County
Right.
says something about this county and their love for sports. And it's been great for the youth in the state of Florida. You know, I tell somebody the other day, I said, you know, in the 13 years, we've put 340 young men walking around with bachelor's degrees. And I think even you guys have been foolish enough to hire some of them.
Yeah, we.
The word was foolish. Now,
yeah,
I want to make sure I understood that.
So
Blessed is the word we were looking for.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I
Thank you.
misquoted. But this conference is big for this county, and it's big for kids in Florida. We were fortunate enough to win this year. There's some good teams here. People are really working hard at this. And if you've not been out to see either Southeastern, Warner, or ourselves, it's really a good quality football. And the kids are playing for the right reasons. You know, these guys are all paying money out of their pockets to play a game they love and get a college education. It kind of brings you back to the basics of what the game was supposed to be when we started college football. So I'm proud to be part of that.
Well, it's, you know, first year in a conference versus an independent. What were some of the challenges going into that? I mean, that's kind of a unique situation to find yourself in.
Yeah, it was, but it was really kind of nice because now I'm traveling in the state of Florida versus making those trips to Michigan and Ohio to find games. So that's really been a financial burden off our program, to be quite honest with you. So that part's great. It's just been a lot of fun. The rivalries and you know, a little bit of fire.
We talk about Southeastern and Warner being right here in Polk County and all being part of that. Does that in itself, does that present a challenge, or is that actually a good thing for you guys? Natural rivalries, recruiting?
I think the natural rivalry, recruiting, I mean, the more people you have to recruit against, of course that doesn't make it as good for you. But by the same token, I think all three of us are different kinds of institutions. So there's enough kids in this state that love this game. You'll find plenty of players.
Right.
It's just find the right ones that fit your program and fit your needs.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't think either of you guys hit on it, but the fact of the matter is, you're in a conference with teams that have played against one another before. So there's a tactical disadvantage initially for you guys. Although, when you take a look at playing teams, say in Ohio or Michigan or Kentucky or whatever it may be, you know, you don't know them either.
Right.
But the teams within that conference know one another, which is an advantage for them, disadvantage for you.
Well, I think it's an advantage for me. Yeah,
oh, really? Because they don't know you either.
Yeah. So this is all kind of a learning curve, but that consistency of developing your program to your level of competition.
Yeah.
I think that makes it a little different. We're going to have a different cat. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Real quick question. I know Neil's chomping at the bit here, but the kids from Polk County, you know, there's so much talent here, and we see a lot of it go, you know, to major schools, University of Florida, Miami, Florida State, and those types of things. How many? Yeah.
Keep going.
Is Jameis Winston playing this weekend?
You never know.
Yeah,
that's part of the fun of being a Florida State fan.
I haven't seen a police blotter.
Wow. Keep going. Keep going.
Going out here.
I've lost him.
But, it's over.
Just turn it off. We've lost him.
Hit the hook. But you know, so much talent here, and obviously you have some Polk County talent here. Tell us a little bit about that.
The thing we've found over the years is a kid coming out of high school doesn't want to stay close to home.
Right.
They want to kind of spread their wings.
Heck no, yeah, I agree.
But the thing that's kind of neat is after usually a year of spreading their wings up north, they want to come back and warm back up.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of guys coming back.
When the snow starts falling.
Yeah, and so that's been big for I think everybody's program down here. And it's neat to see, you know, you always want to get away, but there's something kind of special about being in Polk County.
Yeah.
So just come back.
Well, the rankings just came out this week. You guys are 25th in the country, which is fantastic in itself. But you were talking to us before the program started that the conference champion and being within the top 20 in the country automatically gets you a spot in the playoffs, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And there's a little bit of politicking going in. I mean, I think you guys understand that right now. We really think we'll move up into that 20th position by Sunday. In fact, there's a Raiders meeting Sunday morning at 9 on a conference call, Raiders across the country, and I actually sit on that committee. Okay. So we'll see.
Who do we need to call, Coach?
There's going to be a lot of calls made.
There's going to be a lot of calls. But so conference champ automatically gets in if you're in the top 20. So that hasn't been something that was available to you guys prior to this year.
Well, as an independent, you have an opportunity. And as I tell the story, we went 7-3 and beat an Azuzu team back 4 years ago. Their coach happened to be the Raider at the time. They went to the playoffs and we stayed home. So it's not really it's kind of like those top 4 spots that we're talking about in college football.
Right.
How all that works?
So he shook your hand and said, "We won't see you again."
Basically.
Yeah. Well,
that is something else. Hey, I want to jump back just a second. to the season, and we mentioned at the beginning of the program, and he started out 0-3, and then you make a 7-0 run. I mean, that's just phenomenal. What happened?
Well, I think I said from day one with this group that they were physically very talented, but it was their minds. They weren't focused on one common cause, and they didn't have that belief and trust in each other. And it really, we had 3 weeks of what's going on here, and luckily we had a week off. And in the time they decided, maybe old Coach Scott wasn't as dumb as they thought he was, and maybe we ought to buy into what he's talking about. And once they did, I mean, we're playing really good football right now, and I'm real proud of the kids. And I think it taught them a great life lesson. You know, you have to have that direction and focus where you're going. You just can't wander aimlessly through life.
And in the level of football that you guys are playing in the playoffs, let's say you're fortunate enough to get into that top 20 next week, and you do make the national playoffs. How many teams are there, and what is the format?
There's 16 teams, and you know they play 4 games, and the championship game, I don't know if you're aware of it, but has been moved to Daytona Beach in Florida for the next 7 years.
Wow!
So it's a trip to Florida. I mean, we could be the home team. I'm kind of excited about that. And realistically, I really believe if we get in, we'll win the first 2 rounds for sure. And then the competition, it's line up and play.
Yeah.
Line up and play.
Any given day,
So this is all NAIA. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes.
You know, the difference between NCAA and NAIA.
Well,
but it's unbelievable talent. It still is.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the NAIA that most people, it was the original governing body for football. And who knows? The way the NCAA is going, it may be the original body again.
I think you go back to the comment from earlier. Politics got involved, and you're right. The split and going forward, obviously don't want to look past your game this weekend because you drop that game, and then you probably don't end up in the top 20, and all it comes unraveled after 7 straight weeks of wins. So obviously important game this weekend. But looking at next year real quick, what do you think the conference title, being able to recruit with a conference title in your back pocket, will do for you?
Well, you know, we'll have them nice rings on our fingers, and that always attracts young men. So I think that's going to be big. I think just the attitude of our kids right now, because my big thing in recruiting is you need to be around my players, find out what's really going on, what it's like to be here, and does it fit? Because you can get a guy to come to your place, but you want him to stay.
Right.
Because freshmen don't play.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, you're not going to win. I had no coach I work with said for every freshman you play, just go ahead and mark a loss down.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to develop these guys. And I think as your programs grow, I think that's what young men have to understand. You come in and pay your dues for your opportunities to play later on down the road. And my guys are pretty good at seeing that right now.
One final question. It's very important, Mark. Do you feel Sports Central had anything to do with your conference title? We want to know if we're getting rings.
Well, I've got one, but I'm not going to tell them where to put it.
I can tell. Wow. I can tell you where he wears one at home.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Good luck, Coach.
Glad he asked that follow-up question right now. Oh, Kelly, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck in the playoffs. And hopefully we get you back on after winning a national championships. And that's not out of the question.
That's not out of the question. Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Speaking of
do a great
national
job.
championships, we're going to take it one step higher, and that's to a world champion. This is Super Bowl of shooting sports. Many of you have heard of it, some of you haven't, but it's called the International Practical Shooting Confederation World Shoot 2014 right here in Polk County. Polk County in the shooting world was the center of the universe just a week or 2 ago, and we have some unbelievable footage. PGTV grew second to none, picked up some great stuff, some great interviews. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neil. We'll be back right after this.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the International Tactical Shooting Confederation Handgun World Championship number 17.
I wish all officials cool breezes and smiling faces, and all competitors crisp triggers and clear front sights. And now, it is my honor to officially declare World Shoot 17 open. Good luck to you all. Good luck to you all.
Polk County Sports Marketing Team for leading the way and making most of this happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best whip artists I know. Ryder Kiss, give him a little demo.
Let's see if I can do it 2 whips. You guys ready?
You can clap, don't be shy.
All right, let's be serious. You guys ready? Serious 2-whip routine.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Grasshopper.
So Frank Garcia will now symbolic transfer the IPSC flag from USA to France. World Shoot 18, 2017. How about a round of applause? Next World Shoot, IPSC France.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark and Neil here, and segment number 3 brought to us by Hampton Inn Lakeside. So we appreciate them, and not as much as our sports teams appreciate them though. Great place to stay, great place to train, and you're right down there by Lakeside Village. Gorgeous place. Love it.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
It's the in-depth analysis that you enjoy here at Sports Central, but yeah, they're great partners.
I'm telling you, IPS World Shoot, everybody, had a huge impact on Polk County, and a lot of folks, and particularly the accommodations, restaurants, and gun shops around, they felt it, and we're all made better off because, hey, get all those pesos, yens, rubles.
over $7 million in economic impact for the event. And
I think the Soviet, in fact, I think the Soviet Union, dating myself a little bit there, but Russia had the second largest contingent at the tournament, at the World Championships, if you will, second only to the U.S.
Yeah, it was a great event, and you saw there at the end of the video that France was actually awarded the next World Shoot, because it's every 3 years, Olympic-style event. They passed the IPSC flag off. That's actually been sitting in our office for 3 years waiting on this event, and the most important thing in the 3 years was making sure we didn't lose the IPSC flag, but we didn't. France has it, so good luck to them on their event in 17.
Bar set pretty high for them right now. In fact, I think they were
noticeably nervous with what they have to follow here in the U.S. So great event.
And we're certainly proud of it. But there's more to come, everybody, with all of that. Speaking of more to come, we have one of our favorite guests, although he has not been on for a little bit, so shame on us for that. And that is from our wonderful partner at The Ledger, Mr. Roy Fuoco. And what a terrific writer. And Roy, there's nobody that has better insights in Polk County prep sports than you. I mean, you're the best of the best, and you know, I'm anxious to see what's going to come here in the latter part of the football season. Of course, we're heading into basketball season. Volleyball's done, or coming up, I guess, and let's have it, man. Because I'm telling you, the Polk football season, I think we have 4 or 5 teams in the playoffs already. 8 teams, yes. I knew that. All right. So what does it look like here for Polk?
Well, the first round, I think, looks pretty good. I mean, I think, you know, Auburndale has a tough one against Jesuit, and, you know, Bartow has a tough one against Osceola. But I think the rest of them have a chance of coming out. I mean, Lakeland's playing Lake Nona, who has Tucker Israel. He's set all the state records in passing for career yards, career touchdown passes. You know, I think he has 51 touchdown passes this year and like almost 4,000 yards. So that's going to be a tough one for Lakeland's defense. But you know, Lakeland's offense has a lot of weapons to keep score, and we'll see what happens. But in fact, Lakeland's first 2 rounds might be their toughest one, because if they win this one, they'll probably play Osceola in the next round. Osceola has Bartow, and you know, Bartow's young, but at least a year away from taking that next step. This was the first time they're in the playoffs in 8 years for Bartow. So. But then after that, if Lakeland gets through these first 2 rounds, they may have a nice, make it at least to the state semis, which they'd probably beat Niceville in the state semis. So the winner of that gets St. Thomas Aquinas, who's loaded as usual. So Winter Haven has a good chance of making a run, but the winner of the Lake Gibson Winter Haven rematch, I'm predicting next week. Lake Gibson's got to beat South Fort Myers this tonight, but Mainland is ranked number 1 in 6A. So that's a tough one for whoever beats them in the region finals. So then Lakeland Christian, Victory Christian, they have a chance of making a nice run, and then Lake Will, they made it to the state semis last year. So after a rough season, a lot of losses, 4 losses I think during the season, they had a lot of injuries last year. Sort of the same thing this year. They had some injuries to Marcus Walker, Darien State, and the 2 big ones. They're 2 of the best defensive backs and wide receivers around. And but everybody seems to be healthy, and Lake Will's made a run last year, and I think they have a chance to make a nice run this year.
Gonna put you on the spot. Any of those teams have do you see in the state title game or winning a state championship?
Victory Christian, I think they'll get there again. They made it last year. I really think Lakeland's skill guys are young, and I mean they got A.J. Davis, who's one of the top running backs in sophomores in the state, and James Robinson, a wide receiver. They're both getting looks from Florida, Ohio State, big schools. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Lakeland, get that far, make a run if things fall right for them and stuff like that. Like obviously tonight, with the tough one, and they can't. There's not a lot of room for error and stuff like that. But after that, we'll see. Lake Wills, like I said last year, they have a chance to get to the state semis, but that next step, Yeah, we'll see.
Well, as in the playoffs at any
Yeah.
level, you have to have a little luck that goes into a title run, and certainly, hopefully, all the Polk County teams get a little bit of that.
Yeah, and it's also like when defense steps up, we get so focused on like the Tucker Israel kid who's, with the records there, and all the high-flying officers, Christian Alexander, what he's done at Lakeland Christian. When it comes down to it, whatever defense can step up and make the run. There were some nice defenses, like Bartow had a pretty good defense, Haines City, had a good defense. Haines City didn't make the playoffs. Kathleen had a good defense. They couldn't make the playoffs, and also you need both, both parts of it. And also, it's kind of a cliche, but a lot of those cliches really stick at the high school level.
Well, one of the things that, and I don't know why it just kind of hit me the other night, is watching Sports Center, ESPN Sports Center, and I'm just going, wow. We're like into basketball season. We're, all of this type of stuff is just, this fall has just seemed to have flown by. And, basketball's knocking on the door, and Polk County appears, but you're the expert, appears to have some pretty decent promise, especially, what is the kid's name from Bartow?
Tony Bradley.
Tony Bradley, he's looking sharp. What do you see in basketball this year?
There's
boys and girls.
Yeah, well,
there's talent on the girls' side too, a lot of it.
Yeah, the girls probably the same, faces as normal. Winter Haven, Bartow maybe, Haines City. Those are the same ones that seem to be there in the mix every year. For the boys, there's a lot of, it'll be interesting. There's a lot of good teams from what I'm just catching up with the basketball teams this week and all. And, Winter Haven, they've got Chance McSpadden, who just signed with UCF yesterday, and Darius James, they have a chance to get back to state this year. Bartow, we talked about Tony Bradley. You told me, a little up on me. That the 38 points he scored last night in the Tip-Off Classic. He's gonna. Bartow's. There hasn't been a lot of state titles in the last 6 years from Polk teams, but 2 of them have been from basketball. With Lake Wales winning a couple of years ago, Bartow winning. Bartow, got to state. I think 2 or 3 times now in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think 3 out of the
last
5.
Yeah, 3. And so Bartow is going to be able to is going to be strong again. Making a run. We mentioned Winter Haven. Lakeland's got a lot of players back. Now they're going to missing some key players like James Robinson and some of the football players. I'm sure that Darren's hoping they don't get him back till Christmas and all, because I'm sure he wants Lakeland to make the run and all. But that suits a lot of these teams just fine. They get the football players after, and a lot of times those are the teams that are strongest at the end of the year. Those teams that get that boost around the mid-season. So Lakeland ought to be pretty good. And then over at McKeel at the smaller schools, they've got some young talent. I haven't seen them play, but I've heard a lot of Elijah Campbell getting a lot of looks. Some big schools and small schools in the mix.
We talk about Tony Bradley, and Mark, you mentioned him. Of course, I know quite a bit about Tony being here in Bartow, but it ranks in the top 30 in the nation as in the 2016 class. But that's the great thing about high school sports, and what I'm getting at is the fact that in college they can leave early and go to make the professional jump. They can't do that in high school, so you've got him for this year and next year.
Well, yeah, except I thought I had that years ago when Tracy McGrady played at Auburndale, and I covered it for 3 years. I was looking forward for the senior year, and boom, he's off to Mount Zion.
Well, don't speak that into existence, Roy. But great basketball here in the county.
Yeah, there's I left Lake Will out of the mix now. They lost a bunch of players, but they got Marcus Walker, supposed to be, he's a football player, but he's supposed to be their best basketball player. And Lake Wales has, like I said, has always been all the years I've covered in Polk County. They've had maybe a couple of down years, a few years back, but but that was a couple of years later they won state and all. So it's. Basketball is kind of flies under the radar sometimes because of football and all, but between Kathleen, Lake Wales, Haines City won the title back in 2001. Bartow, there's enough powers that it's worth having the state tournament here in Lakeland.
One of the things that's so nice about having the Ledger here. not only the quality of the writers and those types of things, but people can go and get information. Where would somebody go to get more information about polk preps and all of that type of stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, the website, polkpreps.com, we try to add more to it with the stats, and we put standings on it. Some of it's in the paper, some of it, all of it we try to put up online too. There's always a trick, trying to fit what news you're going to fit in the newspaper because you're limited. But so like today I had the one story for the previewing the playoffs, and then but I had more to say about the Lakeland-Lake Nona game, so I had my blog that I was able to put stuff on. I try to do that throughout the year too. So to give, there's so much to so much to write about and only limited space in the paper. So
they can go to polkpreps.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's been in the last 6 years. It's been kind of growing.
It's been 6 years already.
Wow, man, doesn't seem like it. I remember talking about it on
or
WLKF when we did sport, and I'm going, what?
Yeah.
And,
or maybe beginning at 6 years. Or
Either way, it's been a while, but it's been highly successful
and
really served a need because these athletes are so talented and need that recognition throughout the year. And then, of course, we partnered together to honor them in June at the Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame induction ceremony that the Ledger presents in partnership with Tourism Sports. So we honor them there, and then there's a college section of all that they can get and track people from Polk County. So we just appreciate the Ledger Media Group and all that you guys do, Roy.
The Polk Prep site has been, because we had stuff on there before online, but now we're able to focus it in one spot and all. So there's a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know how you do what you do, but you certainly do it well, and we appreciate you coming on the show because all those insights, I'm going, man, there's some bookies out there. They need to be writing this stuff down, Well,
it's good to be back.
Yeah, good to see you again. We're going to see you on here real soon once again, so thank you.
Okay.
Well, everybody, Shelby Brockmuller, she is from Auburndale. She is a star golfer. And talking about polk preps, well, she's a high school golfer that has excelled well. We have some special footage for you. Mark and Neil will be back right after this. Stay tuned.
I started playing competitively when I was about 10. It was love at first sight, pretty much.
Her fundamentals are so profound and so great because she started so early. Everything that she does as a golfer right now is just a tweak.
I am very competitive. I don't like to lose. If I have a bad day, I shake it off, try the next day. It's one of those sports that kind of aggravates you, but it makes you happy at the same time. Missing putts, missing shots, those aggravate me, short putts mostly. Yes! Woo! Golf is a huge part of my life. I really don't know anything else other than golf. I practice about 2 hours a day for about 3 to 4 days a week, and I love this course. I'm here almost every day.
I can pretty much work with her just like I do the other girls. If I see something that needs to be worked on or something that is a weakness, then I really have to focus on her as a golfer and not as a father-daughter. Control up at the top, snap at the bottom.
It's tough sometimes because I know he wants the best for me, but he wants to coach me at the same time.
Thank you.
I have to call him Dad. I can't call him Coach. It's just strange.
Who else is Daddy here?
One of the highlights was definitely shooting under par for the first time. That was a great experience. I go to the Chain of Lakes Collegiate High School. I'm there to work on my AA degree. Trying to go to college for 2 years before I actually get to college.
Go work out harder, right?
Okay. My dad is definitely a motivator because he's always on me to go practice, go chip, putt, go to the Shalimar, go to different courses just to practice and he wants me to call a lot of college coaches just so I can get my name out there and show everybody what I can do.
So I think that she'll really, really acclimate to college and pros later on down the road.
Moving forward, I'm very excited about next year. I think next year will be the best year yet because it's my senior year. Golf will always be a part of my life because no matter what I do, it'll always be there.
Hey everybody. Wow, makes you want to go out and just play around right now, doesn't it?
Especially in this weather. I keep bringing that up, but this is why we live here, and it's fantastic. This segment brought to us by Hungry Howie's.
And welcome back, by the way.
Yeah.
That was, man, that girl can swing. Just fluid, just so, almost like your swing, buddy.
But hers went straight. It didn't go like this or go like this. Or.
It's a good time of the year to get out there on the courses. Not quite as crowded as it's going to be here in a couple of months, and the courses are still in great shape in Polk County. I'm telling you, we're blessed.
I don't know. I was out there last week, and they're starting to get crowded, which is a good thing because that weather's turning up there. People are starting to come back, so that's good for the local economy.
We
Just
love it.
Book your tee time accordingly.
Get on there. There's a lot of good little. You can go right to the golf courses, but there's some pretty neat websites out there too. You can get some good rates and check it out, everybody. If you've got family and friends out there that are looking to play some great golf in Florida, send them on down. Visit centralflorida.org. All right. Well, lots of stuff going on in Polk County, as we just saw with Mickey Etherton in Auburndale, and great retirement send off for him, and then it's amazing when Roy comes in. He just has an unbelievable amount and wealth of information about Polk preps, and I got to tell you, we've got a lot of events coming up between now and the end of the year, and it's phenomenal. It's almost like, where do you start? Well, we're going to start here. Florida State Championships in cyclocross. Well, what the heck is that? It's mountain biking, and it's being held at Carter Road Park, more commonly known as Loyce Hart Park. Of course, the namesake of Derek Harp, the Director of Parks and Recreation for Polk County. And, cyclocross is an interesting event. It's being presented by Gone Riding, and takes place 15th and 16th of this month. Just a few days away, everybody. But if you want to get into mountain biking, you want to see what it's all about, see some thrills and an awful lot of spills, make sure you check it out. Loyce Hart Park, November 15th and 16th.
Yeah, also Saturday, November 15th is the Fire Tower Run Amok and Swamp Fest barbecue competition. Great event. It's a 5K. It's a mud run, but also
where it is?
It's at the FFA Center.
FFA Center out on Hatchinahaw Road. It is. That is a gorgeous place. Just to go out and just to hike around.
Yeah,
it's really neat. But it's a 5K, and then the barbecue. Man, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, and there's also kayak and canoe rentals and being out there. We talked earlier in the show about hiking and being out in the environment that we have right here. Perfect opportunity right there at FFA Center.
FFA Center, excuse me, it isn't on Hatchinahaw Road.
I wasn't going to correct you.
Well, that's okay. It's on Fire Tower Road. I knew I had it wrong. I had to take a look, everyone. But Fire Tower Road, and it's really easy to get to just off of 27 and right around Dundee. You're just going to head east to Fire Tower Road, and good stuff.
On the 16th at Weber International University, and again, congratulations to Kelly Scott and the entire football program, Bill Heath, athletic director, on that first conference championship. At this event, Try on the Ridge, this fall marks the first time that Weber will be hosting an Olympic distance race in conjunction with a sprint distance on the same course in Scenic 17 Triathlon, kind of like that, the one in July, but that's November 16th at Weber if you are so inclined. I am not.
I think I'll pass, everyone.
I heard Olympic style and running, so I'm out.
Yeah, there you go. That is pull the trigger. Disney's Junior Soccer Showcase, one of those events that Polk County Tourism and Sports co-markets, co-hosts with ESPN, Wide World of Sports, and that is the 28th through the 30th at Northeast Regional Park. Pride and joy of Polk County Leisure Services, Mike Callender and Derek Harp doing a great job out there. And, it's younger age groups. And so if you'd like to check out Northeast Regional Park, there's some great lakes out there. turf fields, and so rain or shine, they're going to be playing. Maybe exceptional, a little bit of lightning, but you can check that out at on the 28th through the 30th of November, right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, plenty of Florida ISA events coming up in through November and December, but
man,
do you want to mention this event, because we have a lot of great barbecue events. The Orange Blossom Barbecue Review, that's Friday and Saturday, December 5th and 6th, and that is at Lake Wales Park in Lake Wales.
Oh, I was
so
just,
check
in
that
fact,
out.
I was just funny, Neil. I was in Lake Wales this morning. I had a meeting with Ken Fields, city manager, and Kevin Kieft, who is the new executive director of the Lake Wales Chamber, and we were talking about it. Jim Stafford is going to be there.
Oh, fantastic.
John Carter Cash is going to be there playing, of the Johnny Cash family. And they've got some unbelievable barbecue, but they said that they've had double the entries that they had from last year. It is a Florida State sanctioned event, and not Florida State, but Florida State Barbecue Association.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what this is?
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Jamius Winston carrying out a set of crab legs. So.
Never mind. Keep going. Wow.
Nothing to say, huh?
No.
Is he going to be playing this weekend?
Yep, they're going to win. Got Miami.
Don't
I'm not
bet
sure
on
if they're
it.
going to win. But,
yeah.
but you're talking about the events and great events. And
well, I think they played who? East Poughkeepsie High School last week, and thus their undefeated record.
25 in a row, that's all I got to say.
25 in a row when you play D3 schools.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Hey, great opportunity coming up. Tigers Fantasy Camp. Go check that out. A great event at Tiger Town. Ron
Well, they got some stars
Myers.
out there,
Absolutely.
including Jack Morris. I've got to mention that. That was kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Jack Morris, but he's he's a hurler from about 20, 25 years ago, something to that effect.
Well, that's January 18th through the 25th or the 25th through the 1st. You can contact Jerry Lewis at 313-471-2550. That's 313-471-2550, or contact Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing at 863-551-4750.
That is some good stuff. I think we have some people to thank, buddy.
Yeah, we want to thank the Florida Department of Citrus, Bright House Networks, Abuelos, Hall Communications, of course, home of the Big Four, and Days Inn in Lakeland. Great partners of Tourism Sports made this show possible.
Absolutely. But if you'd like more information, everyone, on sports and sports in Polk County, you just want to take a good look at Neil in digital life, you can do that. CentralFloridaSports.com. Best information about sports in Polk County that you can find. Our next show coming up is going to be November 28th. And that's when you'll see Neil and I live once again. And it's going to be a great day with some great features, some great guests. Don't forget to check that out. In the meantime, check out this show anytime you like on PGTV, polk-county.net. Following dates and times, we'll have re-airs, and that means every single day for the next 2 weeks. Check it out, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Mark Jackson for the tremendous crew at PGTV and Neil Duncan. We'll see you again next time.